cause I got something to prove. I gotta take what I hate and finally make a move. I think of you and all the shit you don't do. Well, I'ma make hella.
Hi there, welcome back to Beekeeping in Paradise. I'm Brent, and I've got some special guests today for today's video. I've got my friend Dave and Tim. Say hi, Dave.
Hi, Dave.
Okay, now Dave and Tim are two of my very close friends, and luckily they have both decided that they want to be beekeepers. Dave has got a fantastic piece of property out by the Indiana Dunes National Lakeshore, and he's got lots of forage. He's got a lot of potential to make a lot of honey. There's just wildflowers and grasslands and trees of every kind. Anything that you can mention, he's got them over there. So he should be in a really good location. Tim has a different situation. His wife won't let him have bees. But he wants to be a beekeeper anyway, so he's gonna find another location, maybe my backyard once I'm gone. And so he's also got a great location with a big potential to make a lot of honey, because we're on the swamp. There's a lot of weeds, there's a lot of cattails, there's a lot of trees, and so they're both very excited and ready to get going. So what I decided to do is, even though I don't do how-to videos, I'm going to help them out and do a couple of mentoring videos. Today we're going to start off, we're going to go over the equipment and some of the terminology that's involved in beekeeping, and we're going to answer some of their questions, and then we're going to go into the hives and let them get their first chance to have hands-on experience manipulating frames and boxes. Okay, so let's get started. Hi there, everybody. What I'm doing is saving you from some definite torture. What you were about to just see was poor videography, terrible sound, a lot of wind noise, and a conversation between three good friends that just went on and on and on. But the problem is you couldn't hear it very well. The wind picked up, my microphone was too far away, didn't have the settings correctly. So doing this over again, this is not anything against Dave or Tim. They were doing a great job. These guys are so excited about becoming beekeepers. It's got me excited, and I love to teach, and I love to share what I know with other people. And the conversation that we had was fantastic. They had so many good questions, and they were such good listeners and good sports about everything. And I feel bad that I'm not using that footage, but we are going to come back and we are going to use the footage of Dave and Tim when they were in the bee yard, actually manipulating the bees and watching and learning out there. So what we talked about briefly was bee equipment and how to get started, what you need, what you don't need. And first off, we talked about protective equipment. My preference is to just wear a veil. On most days when I'm out in the bee yard, I wear just this veil with a string closure that goes around my waist. You've seen me in this in past videos, and it works really well. This is an older version that it's a classic. Then you've got your basic jacket with veil. This is a canvas. This is not a ventilated suit, not a ventilated jacket at all. It is canvas, and it gives you extremely good protection from stings on your arms, back, stomach, face. And this has they call this the fencing veil. It just goes over your head, zips around the neck, has Velcro to cover up the zipper where the zipper doesn't quite close. You don't want any bees crawling in right there at your Adam's apple. So that is, I do wear that on occasion, especially if it's a little bit of a cool day. I'll wear that. We talked about gloves, and you know that I don't like to wear these. I'd rather go barehanded, or if not barehanded, I wear the 5mm blue nitrile gloves. The bees don't seem to want to crawl on that blue nitrile. When they get up, it seems like they would just walk right back off. And if you do get a sting through that, which I have not, I've heard that you can just take that plastic and pull it up, and it pops the stinger out of your hand. So if that happens to me, I'll let you know. But so far, haven't needed to try that trick. The problem with the gloves is with the leather gloves. Well, they give you fantastic protection. When I had a mean hive, and they would come after me almost immediately. But when I'm wearing the gloves, I don't have a problem. They can't get through it. They can't sting you through it. But the other problem is the dexterity. Your gloves get stuck under the frames. When you're putting the frames back in, then you're pulling your hands out, and things are jerky. And as we know in beekeeping, smooth is safe. So you want to go slow, you want to go smooth, take your time. And when you're wearing the gloves, first of all, if you're wearing the gloves, odds are you're scared, you're panicked. You might not be thinking all that carefully about doing things the right way. But if you find, and my other problem with the gloves is that I think it induces more stings. If you are handling the frames using gloves, odds are you're not going to notice if you're squishing a bee, because they protect you so well that you can actually squish bees under the frames, and you don't know it. But then you've got the alarm pheromone on your gloves. Then the next time you go into the hive, the alarm pheromone is still on your gloves. You wear them. Now all of a sudden the bees smell the alarm pheromone. They start attacking your gloves, and the process just compounds on itself. So that's another reason why I don't like to wear them. Anyway, but other people just feel more comfortable. They feel safer. They feel like they can relax a little bit more when they're in their hives with gloves on. And if that is how you like to do it, then that's perfectly fine. There are no rules that say you have to do it one way or the other. Okay, moving along. The guys asked me about the smoker. And the smoker is your next piece of, I even call it a piece of protective equipment. And you've seen me light one of these before. It opens up, it's hinged. You put in a piece of lit newspaper, and I jam in dried leaves, some twigs, preferably pine straw, and give it some puffs, and you get the flame and the smoke to start coming out. Then you pack everything down and you add some more, puff it up a little bit, get it hot, pack it in, put in some more, and you do this 2, 3, 4 times until it's nice and packed and it's still smoking real well. Close it up, and then smoke comes out the front. Now the reason we use smoke is to calm the bees down. The smoke is going to hide the alarm pheromone, and also there's a little bit of controversy. Nobody's going to say one way or the other for certain, but the two theories are that it scares the bees into thinking that their house is on fire. Then they go in down, they grab a bunch of, or they fill their stomachs up with honey, and they get ready to leave. That this is potentially a disaster on the making, and that they may have to fly off. So they want to have as much honey in them as possible. So when they are busy eating honey, they're not so busy attacking you or getting upset that you're in their hive. That's one theory. The other theory is that it just masks the alarm pheromone and calms them down and makes them just go back to doing what they were doing. Next, on the tools side, we talked about the hive tools. This is the typical pry bar hive tool, and it's just a pry bar that you can use to twist and poke and pry. And then you've got the J-hook. down here. This one is flat on this side. It's not bent over. This has a little bit of a sharper edge. It's great for scraping the burr comb off the top of frames or off the edge of your frame rest in your box. And this side over here fits down in between your frames this way, and then when you twist it, lift it up like this, it's got a leverage action and pulls your frames up, because they do get really sticky. They get stuck in there very, it's difficult to pick them up with just your fingers because of all the problems. Okay, then we talked about boxes and hive configuration. Now, there are all kinds of boxes. There's all kinds of different kinds of hives, hive configurations. I'm not going to tell you that one is better than the other. I can only tell you what I use myself. I learned on Langstroth equipment, and that's what I used. Okay, now I'm going to talk the rest of this episode about the boxes and the hive configurations. I use 5 and 10 frame equipment. Until this year, all of my equipment has been medium. There are deeps, which are approximately 10 inches tall. Then there are medium boxes, which are about 6 3/4 inches tall. These are all roughly, estimates. And then there are shallows, which are even smaller. I think they're 5 inch. But I use 5 and 10. I don't use 8s. I do make all my own. I could make 8s if I wanted to, but I started with 5s and 10s, and that's what I continue to use. So let me show you this pile of equipment that I've assembled over here for you to look at. And we're going to start off talking about bottom boards, okay? The bottom board obviously goes on the bottom, and it is the part of the hive that you start to stack your boxes on, and it provides an entrance for the bees to go in. Okay, this is a 5-frame bottom board. It has a block on the back to prevent the bees from coming out both sides, and it's open on the front. Okay, now over here, this is a 10-frame. This is a 5-frame deep box. It sits on top, just like that, and 5 frames will fit in here. That's also called a nuke box. This is also called a 5-frame deep nuke box. A nucleus colony is one of the ways that you purchase bees, and you will have a queen, 5 frames of drawn out wax comb, and you'll have bees and brood and honey and pollen in there, and this is what you'll buy from your bee supplier. And most of the time it'll just have a flat bottom on it with a hole drilled in the front with a cover, or it'll be a plastic box with a plastic lid like a storage tote, but it's specially made to hold 5 frames of bees. Okay. Now we can put a lid on top. Once again, homemade lids, they're used, they don't look so good. Now, this is a migratory lid. It does not have sides that hang over the edge. Okay, the advantage of that is that I can squish 2 or more hives right up next to each other, and in the wintertime they can share heat. Not everybody believes in it, not everybody does it, but I try to do it when I try to go into the winter with more than one colony. Okay, now over here, this is a 10-frame bottom board. Okay, this one has, I don't know if you can see it, this one has screen over it. It's called a screen bottom board, and underneath it has a tray that comes out, and then in the wintertime you close the door, prevent the draft, and you can protect the bees and keep them a little bit warmer. All of this is subject to opinion and a lot of fun to talk about at a bee club meeting, because everybody has their own opinion, and everybody will tell you that yes, this works and this is what I do, and I do it to prevent mites, and other people say, oh, I only do it to keep the bees warm in the winter. Other people say you're crazy for having a screen bottom board in the first place. They don't do anything. I have both. I use whatever I have. And when I was getting started in beekeeping, I just wanted to see for myself which one worked better. Okay, and over here, let's see. Now, I've got the big boy. Right here is a 10 frame deep box. Okay, now this 10 frame deep box will hold 10 frames, and they are deep frames. Okay, there's one frame, and this is old used brood comb. Okay, and you can start your bees in here, and then you can just build up, make this taller and taller and taller. You can put on then a 10 frame medium box, and this is where the bees will start to make their honey. So basically, baby bees get born in here. Some people put on a queen excluder to keep the queen down. Then you can build your honey supers, stack them on top, and fill these up with honey. And you can do this in 10 frame or in 5 frame. Just remember that when you stack 5 frame, you need to stack more and more boxes to equal the same amount of volume, because your queen is going to lay about 2,000 eggs a day, 1,500 to 2,000 eggs a day. So over the course of 21 days before the first eggs hatch into new baby bees, she's going to run out of room if you just give her 5 frames. So you need to give her another box so that she can expand and give the earlier eggs a chance to hatch. So that's a look at the frames and the boxes. And like I said, whatever is interesting to you, and whatever you think is going to be convenient, whatever you want to build or buy, then that's the way you do it. You just make a decision and go for it. Try it out, and if you like something else, try something else. My preference is to have standardized equipment. Whether it's 10 frame boxes or 5 frame boxes, that doesn't bother me. I just want everything the same size. I want all mediums. Even my brood chamber, I generally go with medium. And the reason for that is, no matter what when I go into the garage or into storage, anything that I pull out is going to fit anywhere I put it. So if you run out of deep frames and you've got a deep box that you're trying to expand or split, and all you have are medium frames, you can put a medium frame in a deep box, and the bees are just going to fill the extra space on the bottom with extra comb. It's not the end of the world, especially if you're just using it for brood. But if you're using it for honey super, and say you run out of medium frames and all you've got left are deep frames, now you have a problem, because you can't put a deep frame into a medium box. It just won't fit. So that is about it for getting started. Make a decision, stick with it. If it doesn't, stick with it for a little while. If you don't like the results, try something different. This is a hobby for most people. We're going to be taking a look in a couple of seconds here at the actual bees, and we're going to head back to the footage that I shot with Dave and Tim. So I appreciate you coming along. I appreciate you being here. I appreciate you spending this time with me to learn a little bit more about the basics and the equipment. If you've got more questions, if I went over anything too fast, leave a comment below. I do hope you will like and subscribe to the channel, and we'll be seeing you again real soon. Be safe, be well, be kind. God bless. Love you.